I am back again about this, and I brought my notes because I don't want to forget because this is really important. So, as I told y'all, this is a really dense read, okay? But something left me like stumped, and I was having a very difficult time, like trying to wrap my mind around this. And I'm still on chapter 3, but I'm on the fifth task, which is serving the non-rational. Now, I want you to think about that for a minute. It's only essentially like 2.5 pages. But your girl here, her vocabulary, and I have several things highlighted. Just hear me out with this. And before I get started, well, you know what? I'll just read it and then we'll circle back. Through these chores, Baba Yaga teaches Vasilisa learns not to cringe away from the big, the mighty, the cyclical, the unforeseen, the unexpected, the vast and grand scale, which is the size of nature, the odd, the strange, and the unusual. To cleanse one's thinking, renewing one's values on a regular basis, to clear one's psyche of trivia, sweep oneself, clean up one's thinking and feeling states on a regular basis, to build an enduring fire beneath the creative life and cook up ideas on a systematic basis means especially to cook and with originality and a lot of unprecedented life in order to feed the relationship between oneself and the wildish nature. I'm speaking from my perspective because this definitely applies to me. But I want you to also just think of it from your perspective as well. I am thinking from my perspective of just my daily work task and housework and things that I do with our children. This could very well be for anyone. If you're going to the gym, you're going on a walk, a run, you're baking, you're gardening. Just think of anything from that aspect, okay? A lot of times when I'm doing that daily work, the mundane, I'm folding clothes, I'm washing clothes, I'm homeschooling, I'm taking care of children, I'm gardening, whatever it is I'm doing around the home, those are not just things that like I do. Okay, these are where I flow. These are where I get my ideas, things like that. So it's not necessarily that these are chores. Yes, at times I don't like doing them, but I have learned over time to change my language. Like that's just the way that my brain works. So these thoughts came to me as I was actually washing dishes. And I immediately thought of Mr. Miyagi and how he taught Daniel to wax on and wax off.
Yeah, but
Right. Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand. Wax on, wax off. Breathe in through nose, out the mouth. Wax on, wax off.
Now, if you've ever seen The Karate Kid, any version of it, you know exactly what he was teaching Daniel and what that taught Daniel. It wasn't just through repetition, it was values and it was a learning lesson. Now, earlier when I read that passage, the author said to cleanse one's thinking, renewing one's values on a regular basis. And I immediately thought of an interview that I saw with Amina. And here it goes.
We go about it the way you go about daily work. First of all, you decide what you want. You establish your values and you start to live it.
The other side of that, what she spoke about, and this also kind of touches on the wax on, wax off theory, I feel like. Because as a woman, and I'm assuming this could probably apply to men as well, that there is such a thing as knowing too much too soon. And, essentially, we have to go and get what we need to get, wax on, and we have to come back to reality because we have things to do here in this realm on earth. Wax off. So wax on, you go do your healing, you do what you need to do, you grab your tidbits of information, wax off, and then you come on back and you apply everything that you have learned. Hence what Amina said about establishing your values. And in the rest of the interview, she says, then you bring that back to your community, because you can't do anything for your community if you haven't yet done something for yourself. Okay? And that also brings me to the ending piece with this book. And essentially what the author is trying to relay, I feel like, is that you're not going to be able to run. Sometimes at a point in your life or a time in your life, there are going to be dark moments. You're going to have to face them, and you're going to have to come to the realization that this is a part of life. There's good and there's bad. You have to deal with it all, and you have to essentially be an alchemist and learn how to use those things for your good. And this is immediately what I thought of.
Blackberry molasses, one of the things that never change. You gotta keep pushing on, the sun don't rain all the time. There's gonna be some heartache and pain.
Whatever your daily work is, your work could be in the home, outside of the home, whatever it is you like to do, whether that's gardening, working out, whatever it is a doorway. It's an entry point. Change the language and how you flow when you're doing those things, and you will see small tidbits and things will begin to change. I love the way that this author does storytelling in order to relay information, because for me, with my brain, this is just the way that my brain works. I need time to digest information, to sit with it, to sit with what I've read, especially a book like this. And then it's through that daily work that things like these comes through when I'm doing something as simple as washing dishes. So it takes time. It's a process. But this is the way I correlate things, and it was a way for me to understand the two tasks in this book that I just read. And I hope if you're reading this book, if you're thinking about reading this book, maybe this has brought some clarity to you, or even if you're not ready to read it, because like I said, it is a dense read and it's not for everyone. This is something you have to be ready for. But hopefully this video has given you what you've needed to start to change those language, or to change the language, because all you need is just a small push and a small change for your daily habits in order to see significant changes over time. So I hope that helps. That's just the way that my brain works and how I frame and piece things together. So I'll be back with more because I'm only on chapter 3. So yeah, I'm probably gonna post this on like YouTube too. And I'm thinking about writing about it on Substack, because I still have a lot more to say, and like even as I've been doing this video, like things have been coming to me. So I hope that helps. Bye.